Hello. Okay. Gonna get everything set up. Everything's basically set up already. But give me a hot second to post on Blue Sky. And then I'm gonna get cooking on, today we're working on Anole lizards, which may be pronounced Anole lizards. I'm going to like the Animal Facts conference tomorrow. So I'll be flying to Portland tomorrow, and I'll ask the lizard biologists once and for all. I learn this every year, and then immediately I forget. So one of these years, I'm going to actually remember how to pronounce it. Okay. If you're coming in, welcome. I'll be starting on drawing in just a moment. Today I'm going to be drawing lizards that are common in like Florida and the southeast of the United States. Doing like goofy beefcake poses because when these lizards are trying to attract a mate and like also fend off other males, they're like always doing these little push-up maneuvers, and that's what I'm going to be drawing today. Making it a little, it's already, honestly, the natural state of things already pretty silly, and I'm making it just like 20% sillier. I know my keyboard is very loud, and I'm sorry about that. Sorry. Hope we're all having a good new year. Today I finally finished Baldur's Gate 3 with I've finished it twice already on like playthroughs by myself, but my friend Adam and I have been playing this game since December 26th of 2024. So for a long time, and we finally finished it. We've been playing it together the whole time. Give me just a second to post this, and then I'll get cooking on drawing. Thanks for coming. Okay. Here we go. Let's do it. Oh, Happy New Year to you too. All right. Do you all have any New Year's traditions that you get up to on New Year's Day? In Philadelphia is a very silly place, which is where I live. I live in Philadelphia. Happy New Year. Philadelphia is a wildly silly place on New Year's Day. We have this goofy parade with an unsavory history that I generally don't go to, but it's down in South Philly, and a lot of my friends live down there, and my cousin lives down there, and I sometimes go down and hang out at her house. These guys dress up in sequins and like big, like I don't know what the word for these things is, but it's like big, heavy showpieces that go on their shoulders, and they're all like string bands and stuff. It's very fun, but I generally just don't want to get cold anymore. I like get so cold so easily now compared to the way I used to. Okay, so we're going to be drawing lizards. Looking silly. I need this to be a little bigger. And for those of you who have joined us multiple times, you will be pleased to hear that I fixed my Apple Pencil, so it's not going to be malfunctioning the whole stream, which I think is pretty awesome. Ooh, you went out. Oh, well, Evan, you live in a place where it's actually nice out at this time of year. Although, wait, are you currently in Pennsylvania, or are you currently in the Southwest? I have not seen a bug yet this year, which is sad. This is too fat. Let's get that skinnier. Make this a little purpler. I don't know why I want my under sketch to be purple, but I do. You live in Florida now. I don't know how I missed that one, but that's, oh, what a good place for bugs and lizards and everything. I love visiting Florida. Oh, awesome. Are you at the Florida Museum? Which museum are you at? Oh, I'll keep that shut. I'm very bad at protecting myself on the internet. I should really be better at it, but I'm kind of bad at it. But I also run a lot of events, and it's like, I don't know, people are gonna know where I am from the events. But that's not true of everybody. My neighbor and my book agent lives right around the corner from me, and he does the whole like collard greens and black-eyed peas first day of the year tradition. So he had me come over and pick up Tupperware full. So I got that. That's a new tradition for me. Tried that. Okay. Part of the reason I want to do a bunch of illustrations, acknowledging that some of them aren't going to make it in the book, is like squid, a couple bugs, what other animals? Honestly, raccoons and possums I have done 1 zillion illustrations of, just like doodling, messing around. But like lizards, I have drawn very few lizards, and I don't want them to look bad in the book, and so I'm kind of just like practicing what that could look like here. All right. Ooh, pork and sour. You hated pork and sauerkraut? You're not a vegetarian, are you? I was a vegetarian for a very long time. And I frequently think of going back to it. I probably should. This is starting to look more like a Komodo dragon, but it's okay. It's okay. We're not going to overthink it. I basically am a flexitarian right now. And I think flexitarians are a thing. I think that's definitely a thing. One, two, three, four, five. Okay, same as us. Don't know why I would think it would be any different. Although actually, salamanders may not have 5 fingers. Wait, if we were making a fist, yeah, the thumb is always near you. Okay. How do I make this little guy look lizardier? This looks too much like a person hand. Ooh, tacos. I started eating more sauerkraut when I lived in Germany. Predictably. You make their name give it, but it's still. I'm trying to decide, should I make the little fingers a little skinnier? Maybe. Also, I think as I get older, I like more fermented stuff than I used to. And so sauerkraut just like appeals more to mid to late 30s me than teenager me. I think I'm also going to give him a headband. I think... Ooh, but how would a lizard wear a headband? We don't know. I've never made my own sauerkraut, no. What have I made? I've made my own beer. That's the only fermented thing I've ever made. Is that true? I haven't done the sourdough thing. I made ginger beer first, which was pretty good, actually. Oh, this is the wrong one. This should be behind him. No, it's fine. Should start here, though. When I was thinking less about this, it worked better. I did a quick little illustration of these. I run a teen art club once a month. So at teen art club, I was doodling beefcake lizards. And it was less realistic looking, which I think was a benefit. Because this is like a little weird. But it's okay. That's why we're sketching it. Back on the bread grind. I haven't made kimchi. It's pretty similar to sauerkraut, though. I tried to make bread for Christmas, and my God, it didn't go well. I used to make bread like multiple times a week. Not anymore. I did not get into the sourdough thing during lockdown times. I started making my own soap. That was an activity. I don't know, my buddy Chrissy is my has been my friend since high school. She is a medical doctor, and we often find ourselves being like maybe a little overconfident about our abilities. And we were like, okay, we're gonna make soap like from scratch, which went hilariously badly. We decided, okay, like if the world were truly to end, which it's not going to, how would we make soap? Like, how would we stay clean? So we were like, okay, what is soap, right? It's like a fat, and it's basically lye, sodium something. I forget what the sodium is. And so we were like, okay, well, we can probably do that. Let's just figure out, where does lye even come from in the first place? And the answer is wood ash. So hardwoods specifically. If anybody's played Animal Crossing, you may recall that they put the wood into categories like softwoods and hardwoods. So like a softwood, I believe, would be like pine maybe, and a hardwood maybe like oak. I'm not really sure. I'm pretty sure oak is a hardwood. And I don't know what makes a wood hard or not, but don't make any jokes about that. And there's something about it that like makes it able to extract lye from it. So first you have to burn it completely to ash, and then you basically treat the wood ash like tea. So you steep it in hot water, and then boil that water down until you end up with concentrated lye. And we tried that, and it did not work even a little bit. We made such a profound mess, but it was fun. Oh, and then for the fat, I went to the Italian market in Philly and got like pig fat, just like straight up pig fat. And that part, rendering fat, really easy. They weren't kidding in Fight Club when they say that's easy. That stuff is not hard to do. The fat part was easy. The lye part was fully impossible. So I was like, whatever. I went and got whatever lye is in a like lab supply store. This is driving me crazy. I need to remember what lye actually is. Sodium hydroxide. Duh. See, I just got sodium hydroxide and used that instead. Hardwoods are deciduous tree. Softwoods are from coniferous trees. Thanks, Evan. Glad you knew that. Once again, grateful that people who hang out in these streams are a bunch of smarty pants people who know natural history stuff. When we were trying to make the lye, I think like too much of the ash got in we put the wood ash in cheesecloth and like let it soak in the boiling water for a while, and what came out, we were expecting it to be like vaguely clear or white, and it looked just like brown tea, like black tea. And as we were boiling it, we had like all the windows in the house open. It was like January of 2021, and we had our big lab goggles on, trying to not like hurt ourselves with this process. It was such a funny disaster. But when we switched out the wood ash component for just regular old sodium hydroxide from a tablet, worked great. Immediately worked. It was very easy. I feel like 2020 and 21, when like the supply chain was breaking down and all that, the preppers have never been closer to right, you know? My friend Christy is a bit of a strange bird. She's not a prepper, but she's the closest I have to a prepper in my friend group. She's just good at accumulating skills. Okay. We gotta make this face a little sillier. Maybe it's his facial expression that needs to be a little saucier. Also, their faces are pointier than I made this guy's face. Pointy face. One of my favorite parts of whenever I end up in Florida, for whatever reason I end up in Florida, is looking at the lizards. They're so cute. I like trying to catch them doing the dewlap thing. I'll also illustrate one doing a dewlap extension. Hello, Happy New Year. Marginally saucier. Oh, I saw, where did I see a curly-tailed lizard? I saw a curly-tailed lizard near the Everglades at that smoothie place, fruit stand. Robert is here. I saw so many different lizards at that place just running around. They weren't in captivity. They were just like hanging out. I saw, gosh, it begins with the letter A, and they're invasive. And one of their varieties, they are the same color as a agama. Yeah, nailed it. For those who don't know what an agama looks like, they kind of look like a rocket pop, like those red, white, and blue popsicles. Like, that's their colorway. And they're just like big and meaty and cool looking. But of course, it's like, you don't want to see invasive species. But when I'm in Florida, there are so many invasive species all over the place. I'm just like, I don't know. Still, unfortunately, kind of having a good time because I love seeing lots of species all in one place. Who can blame me? Many people can blame me, is the answer. Maybe I should have the, like, saucy eyebrow completely over his head. Maybe that will solve our problem. We should probably have him looking at us. And by us, I mean the lady lizard. Faces are more angular than I am, unfortunately, creating. Let's see. Try again. Currently looks like a dolphin now. Or a Tiktaalik. Florida is a bunch of invasive species in a trench coat. That is factual. Which, for a person who likes animals, I admit, makes it fun to visit even if I know that it's bad. Not enjoying animals, but know that it's bad for the native flora and fauna of the state of Florida. Ooh, timber rattlesnake. That's cool. I heard that people will release chameleons in Florida for the pet trade, and they release them because chameleons don't travel very far in their whole life. So if you put them in a tree, they're not going to go very far from that tree. And so they just like release them and then let nature raise them and then just like harvest them later for the pet trade, which is bold. Bold in a bad way. I guess the problem is that his eye is too small. Maybe. No. Just not quite right. Let's try this. I think we're getting there here. Now we're cooking with gas. Just keeping chameleons in captivity is challenging. You can see chameleons on power lines in Miami. That's cool. Have you... I don't think you've been there long enough for this, but I would not look forward to. But again, this is like one of these things. I'd be curious to see the extent to which the iguanas falling out of the sky thing is legit when it gets cold out. Those poor iguanas. I don't know if this is still true, but I know at one point the state of Florida was offering a bounty for iguanas because of the invasive species problem that they present. So they were, putting a bounty on them. And they still might have a bounty for anacondas and other pythons that don't belong there. I feel like that's got to be tricky, though, because you'd have to assume that people know how to properly identify this stuff, which is definitely not a given. Because you don't want people, like, running around accidentally killing the native species. I mean, anacondas, nothing looks like an anaconda, size-wise, in Florida. Yeah, I know there's like a, basically a competition every year, like a python hunt, kind of, for who can capture the most. And it may be by number and by weight, because they really want to get those big females out of the population, because they're the ones that are reproducing the most. And eating the biggest stuff. Apparently it's pretty hard to find a native mammal in the Everglades anymore, which is very sad. I was in the Everglades last April. It was sick. It was really cool. We saw, everything from crocodiles, alligators, of course alligators, and also one Nile crocodile that's not supposed to be there, but like hangs out under this observation tower. That's pretty cool. Although I'll be honest, my favorite swamp. Evan, if you haven't been there, you gotta go. Have you been to Okefenokee yet? Don't have a bounty anymore, but they're open season to hunt basically anywhere. Pythons do have a bounty, but you have to register for it. Oh wow. Okay. Evan, you are the best to have around in here because you just know more than me about a lot of stuff. It's great. This is really where science training super comes in handy because when you're getting trained to be a scientist, you get used to, I guess, learning stuff from other people, which is like duh, but I mean like not taking it personally when your colleague is adding information. I feel like some people who I've worked with who have not gone through science training get maybe they like feel intimidated or something, or they don't, I don't know. One thing I really like about what science training does to you as a person is like really removes, or at least buffs off like some of the ego around information. It doesn't work on everybody. Some people really make it through the process not having learned that lesson, but compared to business people, no shade to business people, I think we're better at it. Not sure. Oh, perfect. I only have scientific collection permitting in New Jersey. Back long ago, I used to do field work in Hawaii, and I went through the process of getting the permit to grab the Jackson's chameleons and day geckos, those green day geckos, and other invasive reptiles, so I could grab them and bring them home with me if I wanted to. Because Hawaii and Florida, as far as the United States go, have some of the worst invasive species problems of anywhere in the U.S. And a lot of it's reptiles. And the pet trade has a lot to do with it. In Hawaii, invasive species are a problem across the board, more than other places. Protected island ecosystems, you introduce a bunch of predators that don't belong there, it's going to be a problem. Yeah, sure. Where'd my water go? There it is. I really wanted to capture some Jackson's chameleons and take them home. But then the pandemic started and I changed. I wasn't doing field work there anymore, so it became irrelevant. Also, I don't know how long I would have had to look to find a Jackson's chameleon. The day geckos are everywhere, very easy to find. And I got good at catching them. Evan, are you good at catching lizards? I bet you are. But I don't know. Whoops. Alright, now I'm going to put goofy muscles on him. Pretty good, yeah. a childhood of bug and general critter catching helps. All right, now we have to answer the important question. How would a lizard wear a headband? I've never used one of those lizard lasso things. I don't know how to do it. But I'm decent at, yeah, just like being very, very still, moving very, very, very slowly, and then just like snatching them. For the hunting permit, does that require catching them first? Probably not. I'm sure people just like shoot them. But I don't know. Like, I don't know how safe it is to handle an anaconda at all. That feels... I would not want to do that. I would have no interest in anaconda handling. His hand is too small. And his arm is too big. It's okay, we'll fix that. That's what sketching is for, I think. Whoops. Yeah, don't want anything to do with, I don't know, man, anacondas eat like deer. I don't want to give them the opportunity to eat me. We've heard this song before. There are other, like, Twitch allowed streaming platforms, and I've only looked into this one. I've tried looking into the other ones, but they were kind of clunkier, and I gave up. Let's see. Where would you think the headband would go, if not there? Because I don't want the headband to go under his eye. Who wears a headband under their eye? Let's look at the feet of a lizard. I'm very excited for this conference I'm going to tomorrow. Wait, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Partially because I get to catch up with my friends that I only get to see once a year at this thing. And partially because, as a couple of you have now heard, I'm bringing a bunch of artists to this conference, which should be interesting. We're doing, the conference is in Portland, and we're bringing 6 artists from Portland. That hand is too small. Well, yeah, no, definitely. And they're going to be illustrating the science that they learn about at the conference, and then afterward we're going to make like a journal article about it. And I don't know, just I'm curious to see what they come up with. I'm curious to see how what we all work on as scientists kind of like hits them. I asked them all to take a look at the conference program and say, like, you know, of these things, there's like, you know, 7 talks happening all at the same time, pretty much all week long. Oh, I put the thumb on the wrong side. Good work, Sarah. I was worried that they were all going to be interested in the same thing. Not even close. They were all interested in very different things. 2 of them really wanted to learn about Antarctic invertebrates, which of everything at this conference, I was like, that's the competitive one. I mean, don't get me wrong, Antarctic invertebrates, cool as hell, but I'm an invertebrate biologist, so I'm like kind of biased, so I wasn't expecting that to be the thing that they were really gravitating toward. But cool, works for me. We really want to make sure, like, you know, this conference involves a lot of different disciplines, including but not limited to, you know, evolution, biomechanics, climate change, microbiome stuff, like all kinds of stuff. And we were worried. I was worried that they were going to be more into biomechanics than other stuff, and that's possibly because I really like going to the biomechanics talks, even though I don't know anything. I'm not trained in biomechanics. Biomechanics being like, this is maybe obvious, how do different animals move, and how does that compare to the way other animals move, and what can we learn from the way that animals move when it comes to making robots or whatever. And it's really cool. The talks are like fascinating. And I learned so much about how weird little animal bodies do stuff. Like we learned at, speaking of lizards, we learned, or I learned last year, this time last year, that some, like lizards that live in the city have different lengths of toes than lizards that live in rural areas, more wooded areas. And at first I was like, what the hell? Like, what is that about? And it has to do with the way these different surfaces get hot differently. Because, you know, in the city, you have the urban heat island effect. So it's super hot. And, like, a lot of the surfaces are often smoother. You know, you've got poles that humans made out of metal as opposed to tree bark, which, you know, is often rugged. And so they have to deal with different stuff, and therefore they're different. But I think the conclusion was primarily temperature based, which I did not see coming in that talk. I also went to a talk, this was 2 years ago, about how let's back up. 1, bats are always clicking, listening for moths. And some moths, in particular, tiger moths are toxic, and if bats eat them, they don't die, I don't think, but they get like a stomach ache, and they just don't they don't want to eat them. And so these moths are constantly yelling like, I'm toxic, I'm toxic. And then the bats don't eat them because that's like an honest signal of toxicity. And there are these beetles that, like, how they figure this out is beyond me, but they are mimicking the I'm toxic screaming from the moths, and then the bats don't eat them because they're like screaming that they're toxic, but they're not toxic. They're not toxic at all. So that's the kind of talk I go to at this meeting, and it's just the friggin' best. Oh yeah. Okay, the bacteria that make blood falls. We don't is a bacterium vertebrateless? Yeah, totally. But we don't put bacteria into the invertebrate category because invertebrates are animals and bacteria are single-celled. So I don't think that session will include the bloody looking bacteria. That would be like Antarctic microbiology. Unless that bloodfall stuff interacted directly with a bunch of multicellular life, like animals, I think it's pretty unlikely that we would be talking specifically about that at this conference. This conference is more like animals. And a lot of times it's like how animals and bacteria interface, but not like just bacteria on their own. Okay. I'm taking too long on this drawing, but particularly for how simple it is, but that's okay. Oh. Right. I kind of do want to give him a dewlap. That's a dewlap. Where does it start? Here. Yeah, blood falls are the intersection of geology and microbiology. There's a lot of, the thing about microbiology is that it kind of applies to everything. Like whether you are a structural engineer that's worried about old structures, or the surface of old buildings. If you're in archaeology, like bacteria is going to affect all that stuff. It's going to affect rocks. Some rocks are likely created by bacteria, like whether it's sedimentary rock or the degradation of rock or all sorts of stuff. And animals, of course, also have bacteria on us, in us, interacting with us, making us sick, helping us stay healthy, like the whole thing. So yeah, everything is microbiology. Whether we admit that or not, it is. Oh, the music is having a moment. Bear with me, please. I'm just gonna reload. Ready, set, go. I think that Twitch streaming may be asking my computer to do like a little bit more than it likes to do. But it's gonna have to deal with it. Come on. Nope. I'm gonna change the channel and see if that helps. No. Let's try this one. No. Huh. Do I have like too many computer programs running? Don't think so. Got it. Sweet. Do cities domesticate animals without humans sheltering them? No. Maybe. I don't think so. I mean, cities are just different ecosystems. They're not like being in a city doesn't domesticate you, as far as I know. It just is a relatively speaking, in evolutionary time, speaking in like millions and millions of years, cities are relatively novel. They are, you know, hotter, less permeable to water. Like when it rains, water just runs off of them as opposed to soaking into them, compared to other ecosystems. Some wild ecosystems are like that as well, but speaking relatively. And yeah, there was that story that came out like a month ago about raccoons domesticating themselves, but being in a city does not domesticate you. Domestication is intense, and it changes the animal a lot, and it's not something that's going to happen without human intervention, I don't think, except maybe cats. I don't really know. Oh, because lizards adjust to cities. No, that's just like an adaptation. It's not a domestication, it's just an adaptation. Changing in response to another organism isn't domestication, it's just adaptation. Okay. I'm gonna make this bigger. Whoops. Put this over here. All right. I'm feeling good enough about that to go in with a black layer. For those of you who have been to a number of these streams, first of all, thanks for being here. I finally yesterday got this Apple Pencil fixed. So now it doesn't spontaneously like stop connecting. It doesn't spontaneously disconnect like mid-line. I just feel like a new woman over here. I wish this stuff was more durable. And maybe that I wish I was less of a knucklehead that like dropped stuff a lot. So for anybody who's new, I am currently in the process of writing a book. That is what these illustrations are for. I'm writing a book on urban and suburban biodiversity and how people who live in cities and suburbs can take actions to make it easier for animals to live in places that humans have like significantly altered. A lot of the book is just about like, hey, here's who lives with us. Here are animals that are really good at living in human altered environments. So like a big central portion of the text is like a section on raccoons, a section on possums, a section on coyotes and armadillos and lizards, of course, salamanders. It's mostly focused. I mean, it's completely focused on North American wildlife because different animals live in different places. Duh. And not as in does, and you should know that does, and maybe that's like a silly thing for me to say. But if we want to talk about the specific animals, having a place that it's focused on, I thought kind of made sense. I feel like are we even doing New Year's resolutions this year? I don't know. I feel like 2025 kind of beat the joy and hope out of a lot of us, but I refuse to be completely joyless or hopeless. Not interested. But it did make me want to do a year-end accomplishment list less for read the room purposes. This is normally the time of year, I mean, along with everybody else, that I set like the annual goals. But because I have this conference like right at the jump of the year, sometimes that process is a bit of a mad dash. I'll have to do that when I get back. My like work year doesn't really start until this conference is over. Or I guess it starts with this conference, but like, going to a conference is a different work vibe than just sitting down at your desk. We have a lot of cool stuff happening this year. We're doing 2 murals. One in Connecticut, around Willimantic, for anybody who knows Connecticut. And one in East Kensington, which is a neighborhood in Philadelphia. It's like one neighborhood over from mine. Working with the East Kensington Neighbors Association for that one. It's totally the fun work. Conferences are the best. I've basically made my talk, but haven't totally finished it yet. My talk is on Sunday. So I do have some time, but not a lot of it. Okay. You hope I get to meet the llama? The llama? What llama? Is there a llama in Portland? Or Kensington? Or um, Willimantic? Connecticut? A llama came to your meeting? Was your meeting in Portland too? Oh my god. Yeah, I also. Okay, it's official. I hope I meet a llama. That sounds awesome. He just shows up. Oh my god. Talk about whimsical. Sounds awesome. I'm like a little nervous about not about bringing these artists to the meeting generally. I just like really want them to have a good time and I feel responsible for their joy. Um, I hope they don't find it overwhelming. I hope they find it inviting. This meeting is like so nice. Everybody is a bunch of, it's like a very friendly, nice meeting. Very inclusive. The vibes are extremely good at this meeting. So I'm like, if there's going to be a meeting where artists come and just sort of like play, I think this is the meeting to do it. But still, I'm just like, just an anxious person. So I'm worried that they're not going to have fun. But I bet they will. How'd that go? How did having non-entomologists at the entomology meeting go? One of the artists who's coming does like intense, spooky, kind of like horror oil painting. I can't wait to see what he comes up with. I'm like so psyched. But also just like I hope he has fun. I think he's one of the younger ones. We have a wide range of styles, ages, etc. at this in this pool of artists who we're bringing. So should be interesting. Yeah, I am like confident that these artists are going to think it's a lot, even if they have a good time. But that's okay. Being a lot is okay. And I told them like they can go to as many or as few talks as they have the like, I don't know, mental emotional bandwidth for. They don't have to feel like they're trapped the whole time. Okay, I am going to actually first I'm going to put some little bits here. Yeah, I used to be a monster at conferences. I sleep more now than I used to. I get more, I mean, whatever, being older does this to you, but I get more tired than I used to. But also this is like the one time a year I get to see these people, so I get excited. Okay, I'm going to do that thing where I save a copy of this and then do one in color, and one not. And I have to do one where like he's doing a push-up, I think. Maybe not. So yeah, last stream I did this guy. And then later I went back and did a black and white version because I don't know which of these are going to be in color and which aren't. So I'm kind of just like playing with both. Yeah. So this one I'll do color. Actually, no. This one I'll do color. Yeah. It's too bright. There we go. Oh wait, no, some of him is white, right? Yup. Yeah. That's where I'm at now. I don't know, my like energy, my social battery is just like not what it used to be. Oh wait. I did pretty good at the squid meeting I was at. But I don't know, there were like enough breaks. Also, this conference was so great. It was a weekend through the week. And on Wednesday of the week, they gave us a break day, which was perfect. So we all like went scuba diving. Which was great, like, you know, connecting with your colleagues while not necessarily doing a strictly science thing. I mean, for marine biologists, scuba diving is most definitely work, but fun work. And that was great because, like, I don't know, having a day not sitting in a lecture hall, your brain needs a break. Because I really do want to pay attention closely to what everybody is sharing. And once I've done that 3 days in a row, I am pretty cooked. Even if the talk is good and the work is interesting, I kind of hit like brain saturation. So having a day to just like run around, jump in the ocean, etc., really, really helpful for retention. I went to this one conference. It was a Gordon Research Conference. And for the non-scientists who don't know what that is, these are like pretty bougie conferences. They're generally, the people who organize them have to do a lot of fundraising to make them work, or they have to be really, really expensive. And the one that I went to when I was a grad student was all focused on animal and bacteria interactions, so host microbe interactions. And it was amazing because every single day had like a 2.5 or 3 hour break in the middle where you would like go to a yoga class or like do like illustration in the woods. And like that was I know that I'm working right now doing illustration, but that's like pretty chill time stuff for a science conference. Some people went on a hike. It was just like, oh my God. And again, that's like really good practice for, networking too, because if you want people to actually connect at your conference and like form collaborations and that sort of thing, you having them just regular socialize together, particularly without beer. Even though I am a beer drinker, I'm like aware that not everybody is. So having connecting over yoga or whatever, that's the stuff. And they still had a lot of beer at that conference too. A little bit of something for everybody. Because of the book deadline I have coming up, um, I really don't want to work on the book during conference time because I go to conferences to connect with my colleagues and learn new things and recruit graduate students for our live stream series. We do like a monthly live stream where basically they give like a really quick 10-minute overview, if even 10 minutes, of like who they are, what they do, why they like it. And then classrooms from all over the country and world, honestly, ask them questions, and then I ask those questions out loud. And I try to find scientists who I know are really good science communicators, can like handle a lot of questions really fast, are engaging, energetic, that sort of thing. And I used to, I mean, when I first started, I just like knew enough scientists from social media and just, you know, socially, that I could easily whip together a 4-month-long series. But now, because science Twitter is just not as active as it used to be, I mean, I'm on Blue Sky talking all day, but it's just not as many of us are on there, honestly. And it's harder for me to find people. So by going to this conference, I can like go to a bunch of grad student talks and see like if you gave a good talk that made sense, even if I'm not in your field, I then invite them on to be on after that. So it's like it's a good what's the word I'm looking for? Scouting, I guess. I'm like scouting for science communication stuff. Oh, hey, awesome. Thanks, Midwest Jess. Glad you're here. Blue Sky is like pretty awesome, but it's not. It's like there are a lot of reasons why Blue Sky is really awesome. The moderation is awesome compared to any other platform I have used. I'm not saying it's perfect. I know a lot of people have a lot of very valid criticisms. However, like if somebody quote posts one of my posts and says something insensitive or just annoying, I can just just detach, and that is a blessing. And the block is really good, and that is awesome. But it's really mostly, and also they don't like torch any links. So if you post a link, it actually gets seen by people, which is pretty good. But not that many people are on there by comparison to other places, so that's a negative. I wish more scientists would use it. The scientists I know who used Twitter and don't use Blue Sky, I think part of it is they like the algorithm the way it was on Twitter, and also they're like, I put all that effort into building a community on Twitter, like I don't want to have to start over again. Which I relate to, I get that. But if I don't have a online community, I work by myself from home. I rely on my online community to keep my nonprofit running. So I kind of don't have a choice. But I like it anyway, so it's not a problem. Yeah, the like people getting spontaneously kicked off there seems super shady, but I don't know. But nothing. But it seems shady, and I don't like that. But I have no better options at this time. People keep telling me that there are squid in the new Avatar movie, but I don't want to watch the new Avatar movie. So I'm not gonna. I guess I'll make the headband and wristband pink to go with the dewlap. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Alright, we gotta put that back on. Because we're missing a line. Oh my god. Last night, oh, thank you, Matt Bear. Appreciate it. I'm always amazed when anybody subscribes. I feel very lucky. Okay, so I'm going to the West Coast tomorrow. And I'm going first to Portland for this conference, and then I'm going to visit my godchild and family in Southern California, and then I'll be in LA for hanging out with my buddy Allie Ward, who runs the Ologies podcast. And we're going to put on this event together. It's called Bad Art for Good. I do this event here in Philly all the time. It's a really fun event. We're basically going to get together and like make art with the goal of communicating important messages to people. And that is whatever important message like means to you. For me, that's usually like environmental stuff. But it can be about whatever you think needs to get out there. And anyway, I bring that up because last night, it's New Year's Eve. I'm like at my buddy Tommy's house at a New Year's Eve party, and I get this email. And this is probably on me for like checking my email compulsively, but I don't know. It is an affliction. So I check my email, and there's an email from the woman who booked our venue. This was going to be like, 150 people at this event. And we find out that this is not, I shouldn't be laughing. The rain out in LA doesn't get much rain. Its structures are not as resilient to rain as they are here on the East Coast. And the rain like damaged the roof or something. And so they're like, sorry, like we have to cancel on you. You can't have your event. Guys, the event is in 14 days. And we already have like 60 people coming. And we will have, now 100. Originally it was going to be 150. But last night they tell us at like, I don't know, it was like 8 p.m. on the East Coast. So of course, Allie and I start panicking. Or at least I start panicking. I think we were both probably panicking. And so started looking for a new venue on New Year's Eve, which is like, who's going to be answering their emails on New Year's Eve? Obviously the answer is nobody. But we tried. Anyway, luckily today, somebody got back to us, which is amazing because the first venue took us like weeks to get. I cannot believe how hard it is to book a venue in Los Angeles. In Philadelphia, it's just so easy. The first one, it was like an arts venue, and the arts venue was like, you can't have anything political here because we can't be political. And I was like, okay, well, environmental stuff is requesting the government to do things that are better for the environment. So like, is that political? Is that like, where is the line in political for you? And then they stopped emailing me back. They were like, too radical. I was like, okay, cool. And like a brewery, wanted to charge us like $9,000 to bring people in. We're like, okay, that's not gonna work. And I don't know, it was just hard. It was harder than I had anticipated it being. And last night I just found it's basically like Airbnb for event planning. It's called Peer Space, I think. This is not an ad for Peer Space. But anyway, long story short, it is like Airbnb, and we got a venue in 24 hours, and I cannot tell you how relieved I am. It's all gonna work out fine. And if you're in Los Angeles, you should come. It's gonna be fun. That's not right. That's not the right pink. Okay. Oh, it's more, I think more salmony than I would have thought. Yeah. I'm gonna make it a little more pink anyway. Yeah. How do we feel about those two together? Did I put that on a separate layer? Of course not. Okay, let's make it pink. I want it a little brighter. Okay. You should be there today. Los Angeles? Philadelphia? Both? LA. Nice. All right. Gonna make all these little dots white. And we'll see how many breaks I made in the lines. Probably a lot. Anybody have anything they're looking forward to in January? And are any of you doing dry January? I admit I have a personal vendetta against dry January because my birthday's in January. And I want people to come out and hang out with me. Oh, right. You told us about your new job. That's great. Indiana football. Nice. Oops. Whoops. I'm not a football person. I honestly don't watch a ton of sports at all. However, I do watch baseball when I'm at the baseball park, usually with my family. Dry life. That's fine. Dry life, fine. Wet all year and then dry January. I'm like, come on, man. What are the Capricorns supposed to do? Totally different vibe. I like playing sports more than I like watching sports. These little circles are reminding me of tortellinis, and I want tortellinis. I haven't had tortellinis in a long time, but something about these little circles, it's making me think about tortellinis. On Christmas Eve, I went out with my cousins in South Philly. South Philly has a lot of Italian Americans around, and we went to this Italian restaurant, and it was so good. And I had tortelloni, which I had never heard of before. I was just picturing tortellini, but it's different, and they were really, really, really good. Mushroomy things. They were like, I don't even know. Imagine drunken noodles. It was that consistency. There was a network error. Did you all see me disappear, or is it just the stream manager? Let's see. I hope I didn't disappear. I only disappeared, I definitely disappeared for me, but hopefully I didn't for you. Anyway, I'm still here. Good. All that to say, tortelloni are good, and now I want more. What food is Portland known for? I don't know. I intend to eat a lot of Mexican food in LA. And San Diego, for that matter. Tortelloni is a man word. Doubt it. Last year at this conference, I drew a lot of really goofy animal doodles. And I'm sure I'm going to do it again this year. The talks are 15 minutes, which is like really not enough time to do anything. To give a talk is fine. Because you can, but what I like about that is that everybody pretty much just has to give their highlight reel. You can't waste a lot of time going into unnecessary details when you have 15 minutes to get your whole story across, which means that it's like just quick, which is awesome. I love that. It's like everybody's coolest stuff of the year in rapid fire 15 minutes. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna put some like, oh wait, I forgot to make these guys pink. All right, so now the question is, what time is it? It is 9:10. Do I try another thing on the list? I don't want to do squirrels playing acorn volleyball because I think that's going to be too involved tonight. Do I do a different pose of lizards doing push-ups, or a dock with a crab and a shrimp, or the animal crow at a protest? I kind of want to do another pose with this lizard. Yeah, I'm gonna do more lizard once I give a little more zhuzh to this one. See, I was also thinking about doing one-handed push-ups. Did I say that out loud, or did I just think that? Did we just think about the same thing? I think a one-handed push-up would be very funny. Even if they don't do that. It's okay. They also don't wear headbands, you know? Finding the line between realism and silly goose fun times for this book has been interesting. I don't know. Oops. There's so much scientific illustration out there in this world, which is amazing and beautiful. But that's not what this is, primarily because I'm not good enough at art to accurately portray stuff, so I'm not even going to try. And also because the point of this book is to like have a silly fun time. And so that's what we're going to do. We're trying to go for unintimidating vibes. Approachable. Easy to access. I think you're right that a lizard doing push-ups would just look like a lizard. You won't get that like smarmy vibe from them that way. I wish it was like easier to be a human on a plane. I wish like I could doodle on an airplane, but the bumpiness makes that impossible. And also, there's not enough room to draw on those seats. I wish there was. I can usually draw at the airport, though. There's usually, like, you know, tables and stuff. Whoops, the daisies. Hopefully the airport isn't bumpy. Sure hope not. tell you what, drawing with a pencil that's not broken, it rules. Highly recommend it. One of the other Twitch music options is something called like Song Pretzel. Might try that next time. I think you have to pay for it, but they give you a 2-week trial. I want to see if that's any better. I'd be curious to see if like there are other genres on here other than like whatever you call this. Hey, Rupert, we're up here. Come here. Rupert is my cat. One of my cats. He's pretty old, and sometimes I think he doesn't know where I am, so he just sort of yells, and then I yell back at him, and he shows up. Where are you? There you are. All right. That'll work. Okay. And now it's time for our one-arm push-up lizard. Get over here. There we go. Push-ups. I didn't try to give him like K-pop star hair, but I did. He won't have hair. He's a lizard. You can see where, yeah. It was supposed to be his eye, but it definitely ends up looking like K-pop Demon Hunters Lizard Edition. When I run Teen Art Club, the Girl Scouts have it before us, and if the Girl Scouts are well behaved, they get to sing K-pop songs. I wanted to have him like kissing his bicep while he was doing it. That's what I was thinking. Still thinking that. I just can't figure out how to do like a push-up and the do-lap while he's kissing his own bicep. But maybe I should just believe in myself and we'll figure out how to do it. This is gonna work. These, like, sketch layers always end up looking a bit like a block print by the end of it. Because of all of the times I've, like, erased sloppily. This lizard needs tattoos. I just decided that. I'm trying to not overdo the like, you know, mom tattoo. But it's funny when an animal has tattoo. What kind of tattoos? This is the exact question. I don't know. This is the problem. I don't know. That's why he looks like a crocodile. His legs are wrong. That'll do it. Okay. And that's what reference images are for. So you don't accidentally draw a crocodile. I think he probably would have American traditional tattoos because he's a North American species. He can't have an anchor because he's not in the Navy. I might just give him a mom tattoo for now. Though I kind of want to give him like a thigh tattoo. I know. I was also thinking about the 2000s tribal tattoos, but I didn't want to do any, you know, cultural appropriation. Even if this lizard may do that, you know? I don't want any parts of it. But that does seem like the right vibe. What kinds of tattoos do those Jersey Shore guys have? From the show Jersey Shore, not from the actual New Jersey coastline. Japanese letter for Godzilla. Oh, that's ka, not ra. And that might be backwards, is it? This is a real pop quiz for me. That's ra. What's G? Is this G? I was close. Unfortunately, if you don't know what that says, it doesn't make any sense. The Godzilla nerds will know what the hell it is, but everybody else will be like, what? Also, it's weird to have a tattoo on your inner arm. And while I do think a thigh tat on a lizard would be funny, it just feels more canonical to have it on your bicep, the like outer part of your bicep. Do the inside of your arm because it's closer to your heart. Makes sense. I think we're finally here getting to like the cartooniness level that I want. Sorry, not talking. I don't have anything to say. It's hard to talk for 3 hours straight and have anything of value to say. I'm impressed by people who can do it. I don't want to just start like talking about sandwiches I've eaten this week, you know? If I was really committed here, I would look up what lizard hearts look like, because I'm quite sure that they don't look like ours. Although this doesn't look like ours either, right? So maybe it's fine. Upon further thought, it should say Liz, not Mom. I think that the thigh tat works really well, actually. I take it back. You enjoy the cozy vibe. Okay. That is good. I'm trying to remember that you can all see the left side of the screen better than the right side of the screen and put the interesting things on the left side of the screen. But I forget sometimes. Okay. Let's fix these feet. maybe take this away. My favorite art store in the city recently declared bankruptcy, but it's the like not disaster bankruptcy, if that makes any sense. I honestly don't know anything about bankruptcy as a concept, so like, you know, take this with a grain of salt. But my buddy who does know stuff about business was like, yeah, they're filing for bankruptcy, but it's like the restructuring one as opposed to the like, I don't know what the other one is, but I'm nonetheless worried because I really don't want them, I don't want anything to happen to them. I'm there all the time. From like, you know, when it's time to get my godkids birthday presents, or also like running teen art club. I don't want to have to go to a big box store for that. The place has been there forever, and like a bunch of artists who actually make art work there, and I don't know, when I have like art questions, they actually know the answer. And it's really valuable. And if they go away, I'll be sad. Though I did recently see one of the employees on there on Hinge, and I did ask him out, and he did ignore me. But I was going to go back anyway. It's fine. I have no shame. And then later in the week, I don't know why I'm telling you all this. Later in the week, after I asked that guy out, but on Hinge, so it doesn't really count. My buddy was there, and the dude who I asked out referred to my friend, referred to me in reference to my friend as my friend's partner. So he must have thought that I was dating my friend, and then subsequently asked him out. That doesn't make any sense, but that is what happened. So there's that. That's something that happened to me this week. Last week? This week? This week. So now what am I supposed to say to that guy when I see him at the art store? Hi. I'm not trying to cheat on my friend with you because I was never dating him. We're just friends that sometimes go art supply shopping together. Have a nice day. You don't have to date me, but I don't want you to think I'm cheating on my friend. Thank you for your advice in the ink section. Oh, I'm not really actually worried about it. I'm just gonna walk in there like nothing ever happened. It's gonna be chill. I'm not a very awkward person. He might be, but it's not my problem. I'll just be nice to him and it'll be fine. Mostly confusing. Not bad, just like, huh, that's a weird thing to have happened. Good seeing ya. Good night. Good night. Okay. The line widths are all very different across this doodle, and that's fine. I mean, it's not good, but whatever. I'll deal with it. Let's attempt to make them a little more regular. I'm actually going to make them all bigger. Good night. Last night, watching ball drop stuff, etc., I learned that Puerto Rico is an hour ahead of East Coast time for part of the year. I didn't realize they don't do daylight savings. Good for them. I know, I wish we didn't do daylight I wish we always did daylight savings. I can never remember which one I want to stay on. I think we want to stay on Eastern Daylight Time. I want more light when I am normally awake. I would like it to stay light later. Yeah, it's really goofy that we do what we currently do, the switching. The research that shows that, like, you know, people get in more car crashes and stuff, it's not good. It's not worth it. Okay, once again. Is watching someone fill in color blobs like this, like the art stream equivalent of power washer videos? Because it feels like running a power washer in a good way. I love power washing stuff. The one of the first steps in installing a mural is thoroughly power washing the wall you're going to install it on. And oh my god, I love that. It's my favorite. I don't know if it's my favorite part, but it's up there. I really like installing murals. It's fun. I wanted to get some illustrations done tonight because I don't know. I don't think I'll be able to stream at the conference. I mean, I'll be like hanging out with people and doing stuff. And then after that, I'll be with family, and like it's kind of a mixed bag. I never really know what I'm doing. I kind of just have to roll with whatever the family plan is. Okay, sounds good. But in LA, I'm sure that I will have time because Allie and I both have a lot of work we gotta do. I gotta work on this, and Allie is kind of perpetually working on ologies. Soup on the Rocks, do I know you? I just don't know your username. Who are you? Oh, Jillian, hi. I found your note in my guest room yesterday. I was not hungover the next morning, against all odds. My buddy turned 40 last weekend? Sunday night? Sunday? So we all went out for her birthday. And Jillian showed up after we had been partying for a long time. And I was perfectly fine the next day. It's a birthday miracle. I'm worried that my flight is not gonna leave tomorrow. Where it's like anytime in the winter that I'm flying, I'm like, there's gonna be ice on the plane and they're gonna just trap me in Philadelphia forever. Worst places to be trapped, but we'll see. Oh, good question, Jillian. I will think about that tonight before I leave. I'm trying to get better at using just a few colors on stuff. And sticking to a color theme better than I have in the past. It's getting marginally easier. Okay, pink. Yeah, I think green and pink look so nice together. The other invasive, okay, so there's two really common um, anole species in Florida and Georgia, and I don't know where else in the U.S. they are, but one of them is invasive and one of them's not. And the green ones are native, but confusingly, they can sometimes turn brown. So, sometimes they look brown, but they're not the brown anole. There's two. There's green anole, brown anole. And the green ones are, have been here longer. And the brown ones not so much. Whoops-a-daisy. And I just think that green and pink looks really good together. They know how to put together an outfit. It's very much like, it's giving those, like, what is it, Lily Pulitzer? Is she the one who does? Lily Allen's the singer. Lily Pulitzer? I don't know my, like, Nantucket brands, I admit. But, Definitely gives Cape Cod in the summer time vibes. Normally, the American traditional heart, mom heart, would be red, of course, but I'm not a lizard, you know? Maybe they would go with this. I bet they would. I don't know if you can tell what's going on here. It just sort of looks like he's waving. That gullet is a dewlap. Yeah. I think it's kind of hard to tell what's happening. Oh well. He doesn't look like he's doing a push-up as much as he looks like he's like, yeah, waving. Oh, wait. Are these lizards supposed to have... Yeah, okay. Pardon me as I, like, ramble to myself. There should be light green in more places than there currently are. I'll fix that. Very fixable. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Let's flex that fist. Whoa, that's not what I meant to do. No. There we go. Oh my god. Jillian, you've solved it. This is the solution. I mean, he looks a little like he has long nails. Possibly because I was looking at my own hand when I did this, but it's fine. It's fine. Where's that coming from? Here? Yeah. Getting a Geico ad during this stream is pretty funny. I know Geico ads are kind of ubiquitous, but... This is it. Thank you. A lot of artists, both I know personally and online, say that they sit like a shrimp all day. And I'm not saying I don't sit like a shrimp, because I definitely am like hunched over. But you know the like seaweed creatures in The Little Mermaid that are just like I feel like one of those when I've drawn for more than like an hour. I just feel soggy and crumpled. Not really soggy, but I do feel like a sea witch has cursed me, you know, or at least cursed my posture. A couple years ago at this science conference that I go to every January, I went to this talk on sea turtle navigation. And the scientist was looking at the bacteria that live in the tear ducts of sea turtles, and looking at the ability of this bacteria to orient to magnetic fields. And they were hypothesizing that like maybe the way these sea turtles navigate is by using the bacteria that live in their lacrimal glands, the tear ducts, and like use that orientation ability of the bacteria to help them figure out where to go and navigate in the ocean. It's pretty wild. And I want to see if they are giving a talk this year, because I want an update. I want to see what they found. When I went to this conference, when I went to that talk, it was basically like we found the bacteria in the lacrimal duct that we think can do this, and then that was it. No study of what happens when you, I don't know, like treat the sea turtle with antibiotics that removes the bacteria. Like, can they get around? But I don't know, that might not be allowed. That experiment might not be allowed. In some animals, that experiment would be very easy, but I don't know, sea turtles, I don't know, might be hard. I think you need to show that you can get the bacteria back into them, so they're not like permanently confused about where they are. That'd be very sad. All right, that works. All right, I might put these two together in the same frame. What shape? Yeah, it was really cool. I gotta figure out what they've found since. Okay. I want to be able to like post this on my Instagram story. I love him so much. He's so cute. Okay. What could he be standing on? Maybe like a pedestal? Okay, let's get serious here, Sarah. Let's do a 4,000 by 5,000 because that is Instagram shaped. Though what's Instagram story shaped? That's taller. And I'm not going to make this an Instagram post because it's not there. Oh, Lord. Let's look up the dimensions. Here we go. It is 1080 by 1920. Done. Yes, please. All right. Is this all combined? Yeah. Can I copy it? Copy. Layer. Okay. Time for duplication. Almost done. Okay. Yeah, that'll work. I just want to try real quick, seeing what would happen if we made the lips of the lizard. That's two. Let's try that. And the mom red. Whoa, gosh, not like that. Not like this. I'll try that. I don't know, what do you think? I kind of think it should be pink to keep the color palette simpler. Does anybody have an opinion? I'm leaving it pink. Okay, I'm done. Definitely pops less. Ah, crap. But whatever. Okay. Sending this over. Gonna post on Instagram. It's 10:30. I think it's about time to call it a night. You do not need to sit here while I airdrop things to myself. Okay, so today we worked on 2 lizards. One looks sillier than the other one. That's okay. I will definitely not be streaming for the next couple days because of the conference, but then after that, the following week, let me look to see what days that would be. Maybe, but probably not, Thursday or Friday. And then I get to LA. I want to say the 12th. 12th or 13th. So maybe during the week of the 12th, I'll be back. So it'll be a week off where I just am not going to be able to find time. And then the following week, I'll be back at it because my book deadline is Thursday the 15th. So 2 weeks away from today. So I better get on it. Thank you for being here. And for the people who subscribed, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And I'll see you all next time. Bye.